Hey guys! Welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. All the details are in our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share our video before continuing. Thank you so much. The message fans had been hoping to hear for years finally landed, and the internet couldn't sit still for a second after it hit. Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu are stepping into the same project again. That's right. Two names who helped define a golden chapter of Turkish television are back on a shared set, and the reaction has been a tidal wave of nostalgia, curiosity, and a new kind of anticipation that feels bigger than anything tied to a simple reunion. What began as whispers on set corridors and deliberately vague hints in interviews suddenly crystallized into something real when sources close to both sides confirmed that the pair had signed on together. In an instant, timelines filled with edits, throwbacks, and declarations from fans who never lost faith that this particular lightning could strike twice. Their legacy together didn't just rest on looks and charm, it was about timing, wit, and a textured on-screen rapport that lingered long after credits rolled. Over the intervening years, both Barış and Elçin walked their own paths, carrying projects that traveled far beyond Turkey's borders, stacking accolades, and sharpening their craft. Now the very idea of those roads meeting again has people talking about more than just a reunion. They're predicting the kind of story that leaves a mark. Observers point to Elçin Sangu's careful selection of layered roles and Barış Arduç's recent, daring choices as proof that this decision can't be casual. There's a sense that the moment needed to feel right, professionally and emotionally, and that's what gave this comeback its jolt. From what slipped through the cracks, this isn't a lightweight romance or a nostalgic replay. The script is said to orbit complex characters who carry wounds and secrets, using love not as decoration but as a catalyst for transformation. Insiders describe a narrative dense with moral tremors, slow-burn revelations, and choices that twist the fate of every relationship on screen. The production team, aware of what this duo's return represents, is reportedly taking a fine-toothed comb to every beat, every turning point, aligning the material with the strengths that defined both stars in the first place. No official poster, no trailer, yet. But word is that cameras are about to roll, and the production has quietly booked stages, secured locations, and locked a calendar that hints at a major entry for the new season. Meanwhile, fans have turned the digital world into a memory museum and a prediction market all at once. The flood of posts resurged with clips from their first era together, paralleled by speculative threads about what their new characters might carry. The wait is over, we're not ready, and this is the reunion that had to happen. Sit side by side with carefully edited fan art that treats the new project like destiny finally circling back. If you compare the tone of the fandom to years past, there's a noticeable difference, enthusiasm tempered by maturity, longing infused with a faith that these two have come back wiser, bolder, and ready to push beyond what made them famous to begin with. And perhaps that's exactly what both Barış and Elçin have been signaling for a while now. In earlier interviews, Elçin Sangu has talked about her instinct for characters that have a heartbeat you can hear even when they're silent. Roles that hold memory, regret, courage, and a bit of mischief all at once. Barış Arduç, on the other hand, has consistently emphasized the power of a good team, a director who listens, and a script that knows when to hurt and when to heal. Taken together, those standards tell us something essential about why they said yes now. This isn't about repeating old magic, it's about discovering a new storm inside it. What's coming, according to those who've read the latest draft, is the kind of drama that uses romance as a lens to study wounds no one is ready to admit. Elçin's character is said to move through her world with bravado that masks the tug of old ghosts, while Barış's role reportedly plays on the tension between a steely exterior and a private vulnerability he carefully hides. The writing seems determined to force both characters to confront what they've outgrown and what they still can't let go of. It's an arena tailor-made for two actors accustomed to carrying an episode with a single look, a pause, a line delivered with more subtext than sound. The operation has been wrapped in near-total secrecy. Meetings are held under cover of decoy schedules. NDAs are ruthless. Even the costume tests are said to be staggered to avoid leaks. And yet the scale of the ambition is impossible to hide. International platforms are already in the conversation, circling the project with interest born from both names' proven reach across borders. Those close to distribution talk about a rollout plan designed to speak to audiences who first fell for them years ago, plus a new generation that knows them from more recent work. The message between the lines is simple: this isn't just for one country. This is a story calibrated to carry across time zones. Another signal of how serious this is: the roles aren't built around one lead overshadowing the other. Instead, the pair are positioned as equals who both bear the narrative spine. That choice breaks from an old formula and leans toward something contemporary, two protagonists pulled by fate and flaw in equal measure, each one pushing the other into uncomfortable truth. From a production standpoint, that means scenes designed to be emotionally heavy and visually intimate. From a fan perspective, it's a promise that what made their chemistry sing won't be diluted by lopsided storytelling. Broadcast details remain locked, and the official launch date is being guarded like a final twist. Even so, the entertainment world is already treating this as the season's event. Casting directors are blocking out time to watch the pilot. Critics are negotiating for early access. PR teams are choreographing the rollout so every reveal is timed like a drumbeat. The expectation is that the first images will explode online, and then a teaser will do the rest, short, sharp, and designed to remind viewers that some dynamics don't rust with time, they get sharper. The gravitational pull of this pairing has also drawn brands into the orbit. Behind closed doors, agencies are drafting proposals for joint campaigns, arguing that pairing Elçin's elegance and wit with Barış's grounded charisma delivers a 1-2 punch of aspirational and relatable. Special photo shoots, timed to coincide with key promotional milestones, have been floated, showcasing a visual language that nods to nostalgia while framing both stars in a new, more sophisticated light. The goal is to conjure a coherent public image for the project. Mature, stylish, emotionally risky. Fans haven't missed the breadcrumb trail both of them have been laying in recent months. In separate conversations, they've each spoken about the importance of arriving at the right story at the right time. The language echoed with uncanny symmetry. Now, understanding the context, it reads less like coincidence and more like a careful promise. Insiders whisper that they've been spending long evenings with the script, together and separately. Testing lines out loud, tracing their characters' arcs, questioning motivations, and locking eyes across pages when a beat finally clicks. If that's true, it explains how quickly the final yes came once all the pieces were aligned. Early table reads reportedly sent a charge through the room. The director, a filmmaker known for trusting silence and giving actors space to breathe, was said to be elated by what happened between them with almost no direction at all. The plan, according to a crew member who couldn't contain their excitement, is to frame scenes in a way that lets glances and near misses do as much talking as the dialogue. That approach, combined with writing that isn't afraid of messy humanity, hints at sequences designed to linger in the viewer's mind long after the episode ends, the kind of scenes people argue over, interpret, and repost with captions like "this broke me" and "watch this again." But make no mistake. This isn't just wish fulfillment for a fanbase. Everything we're hearing points to a project that wants to stake a claim on the season, maybe even the year. It's ambitious without being loud, emotionally risky without tipping into melodrama. And when those first air dates are finally written in ink, you can expect schedules to shuffle and Thursday nights to become conversations. It's what happens when two performers who changed the game once before decide to meet again in a story that refuses to be small. Nostalgia plays its part, of course. It's impossible to ignore the way memory glows when we think back to their first pairing. But the sentiment floating around now feels sharper, like viewers are bracing for the thread that never quite tied off to be pulled tight. In fan circles, the phrase "unfinished story" keeps surfacing. Not as a demand to repeat the old plot, but as a desire to resolve the feelings that partnership first stirred. It's as if time has been asking a question, and this new project is finally ready to answer it. From leaked character sketches, there's talk that Elçin Sangu's role will dig into a past she's kept at bay, family histories, promises she couldn't keep, the echo of choices she made to survive. She's not weak, she's weary and wise. Across from her, Barry's Arduç will reportedly navigate a character shaped by discipline and restraint, a man whose armor has protected him for years but now costs him more than it saves. Together, they'll test which version of themselves is worth fighting for. Those arcs ask for precision and courage, the kind of craft both have been honing for a long time. The production's hush-hush approach extends to every department. Wardrobe is quietly assembling a palette that shifts with the character's evolution, mixing tactile fabrics with clean lines to signal who they are at a glance. The score is being composed with an ear for intimacy, minimalist, moody, and engineered to swell at the edges of confession. Lighting tests aim to sculpt faces rather than flatten them, making space for subtext to live in the shadows. Each choice circles the same idea: if you're bringing this duo back, the frame has to be worthy of them. International buzz is already measurable. Subtitling teams have been penciled into schedules. Talks with global platforms include discussions about simultaneous release windows to preserve the communal thrill of watching. Industry watchers are predicting that the pair's existing clout will convert casual curiosity into event viewing. If that happens, the project won't just revive a legacy, it will extend it. There's also a philosophical shift embedded in the way they're telling the story. Instead of relying on familiar gendered beats, the narrative gives both leads equal agency and consequence. That means the emotional burden is evenly shared, and the victories won't come cheap. It's the kind of storytelling that modern audiences crave, one where romance is not a finish line but a furnace that forges stronger selves. As for the official reveal, expect a carefully staged one too. A set of first-look stills that hint more than they show, followed by a short teaser that lands like a heartbeat and leaves questions hanging. Each step is calibrated to remind people why this pairing matters and to reframe the conversation away from "can they recreate it?" toward "watch them transform it." The team believes in what they have, and their confidence is contagious. Meanwhile, the brand conversation hums in the background. Style houses want them in campaigns that ooze classic glamour with a contemporary edge. Tech companies see them as the perfect faces for devices that promise connection with sophistication. Even lifestyle labels are allegedly angling for collaborations that emphasize balance, strength and softness, drive and grace. If those deals land, expect a swirl of striking visuals timed to crest right as the series enters the public eye. On set, a rhythm is already forming even before the clapper slate snaps for the first official take. Crew members trade knowing smiles when the leads walk into a room. The camera department has started designing shots specifically to capture the micro-expressions that used to send comment sections into overdrive. The director's notes are said to be light but precise: fewer words, deeper breath, slower look. It's a plan to let chemistry do what it does best, arrive without being chased. None of this would matter if the core wasn't strong. But the heart of it, the writing, the emotional architecture, the willingness to test limits, sounds sturdy. And when you couple that with two actors who have earned their reputations the hard way, you get a feeling that what's being built here won't vanish after a week of trending hashtags. It'll sit with people. So yes, call it the reunion of the year. Call it a homecoming, a callback, a second movement of a symphony that never truly ended. But also call it what the most hopeful fans are already sensing: a story that intends to stand on its own feet, even as it bows to the history that made it possible. If you loved them once, be ready to meet them again, changed, sharper, and ready for roles that don't flinch. All eyes are now on the date we're still waiting to hear and the platform that will claim it. The minute those details are public, the countdown begins in earnest. Until then, the rumor mill spins, the memories glow, and the promise hangs there like a secret everyone already knows: Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu are coming back together, and this time, they're aiming higher. This brings us to the end of our video. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share the video. Goodbye.